So I have some advice for the guys also on the idea of expectations, and it's got a story to it. Before I had gotten married, I used to get quizzed by my shuyukh and like they do about getting married and things like that. And one time, one of my mashayikh, I had sat with him in his hotel, and he was sitting there and he was quizzing me about what's going on and stuff like that. And so I don't know what inspired him to say this, but he said to me, listen, I just want you to know, especially for the guys, he said, I just want you to know that no matter who you marry, he said, no matter who you marry, you will walk out and you will see somebody prettier. Because guys have this idea of, I just need to marry the prettiest woman in the world ever, because that's what's going to, there's so much fitna out, I need to make sure that I marry somebody who's like a 10, 10, 10. He said, you will find somebody prettier. And he said to me, even the Prophet ﷺ was not immune from the beauty of a woman catching her eye. And he quoted the verse in Surah Al-Ahzab where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Prophet ﷺ after an incident not being able to, the divorcing of wives and what have you. And he says that you don't replace the wives who chose you وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكَ حُسْنُهُنْ with another wife, even if their beauty might please you. And so Rasulullah ﷺ, even though he's married to the likes of Safiya and Aisha radiallahu anha, he's not immune from the beauty of another woman catching his eye. And so there is no one woman that you will marry that will force you to lower your gaze. You have to lower your gaze. You have to choose to be satisfied. You have to have taqwa. And it's the same thing goes for women as well, in the sense that you're not going to marry some guy who will, if your eye is always unleashed on Instagram and what have you, then you're also going to suffer for that. So make sure that you are content with who you choose. That will be better for you than necessarily the features.
I always used to say in class that, the guy is looking at images all day. Billboard signs, commercials, on YouTube, he sees the images of women who are, and it's not fair to compare, your wife to those, because they're airbrushed, they're photoshopped, heavy makeup. I'm sure all of you have seen those videos where they start to remove the makeup and you see a ghoul, The point is that then he comes home to his wife, who is a good, okay looking person, but he's comparing her to all those images that he saw. It's like, why can't she look like the billboard? Taib, your gut is up to here, why don't you look like the billboard? And you just want her to look like that, and he just looks